guys, welcome back to the VDC space. Today we're gonna be modeling a scaffold family in Revit. Is BIM for temporary works a thing? Of course it is. There are so many manufacturing companies who are specializing in formwork and also in scaffolding who are managing to generate 3D models for their products such as scaffolding and formwork. So I thought it might be interesting for this episode to generate our own family for scaffold temporary works. And yeah, I think this is going to be interesting. Before I get started, I would like to ask you guys to please subscribe to the channel if you're new. If you're already subscribed, hit the notification button as I upload BIM modeling tutorials and Revit tutorials 3 times every week. I cover different topics from architecture, structural, wastewater, roads and networks, bridges, and so on. Now, uh, with the strategy when it comes to generating this family is we're gonna use two different family templates. The first one is gonna be site, and then the second one is gonna be a line-based family. So we're gonna start with the site, and then we're gonna nest it into the line-based family in order for us to make it more intelligent and parametric. Now, without further ado, let's start with our project. So I'm gonna go to under family. I'm gonna go to new. And then I'm gonna go to matrix site and say open. And then the first thing is I'm gonna set up my reference plane. So this side I'm gonna place a reference plane, and also I'm gonna place another one this side. So I'm gonna offset it by, so it's gonna be equals to 2226 divided by 2, and then it's gonna be 1113, and then also this side is gonna be 1113. Then I'm gonna place another reference planes across like this. And then I'm gonna offset it from this middle reference plane by 700, and also this one by 700. Then I'm gonna select this reference plane, copy it to the right by 88 millimeters. And also this one, I'm gonna copy it by 88 millimeters to the left. And then this one, I'm gonna select it, and then I'm gonna copy it down by 100 millimeters. And then this one also, I'm gonna copy it down by 100 millimeters. Perfect. Now we set up our reference plane. It's time to incorporate our elements. So I'm gonna start with our steel pipes. So our steel pipes are gonna be 25 millimeters in diameter, 12.5 in radius. So let's go. So I'm gonna start with our vertical poles first. So I'm gonna go to create and say extrusion, and then I'm gonna select my circle option, and then I'm gonna place the first one. So I'm gonna place the first one right there. So the radius is gonna be 12.5. It's K, and then I'm gonna place another one right there. Actually, just to make things faster, I'm just gonna mirror it. Select the two of them, and then mirror them towards the other side. Apply the material to this, so I'm gonna type in steel, and then I'm gonna load in metal and say apply, okay, and then finish edit mode. I'm gonna go to the left elevation, and then I'm gonna drag these poles upwards. Uh, I'm just gonna drag it randomly upwards. We're gonna adjust it after we finish everything. So if I open up the 3D view, this is what we have. I'm just going to trim the level of detail to fine and then this to realistic. I'm going to go to the reference level or the floor plan again. So this is what we have so far. And the next thing is I'm going to go to the left elevation. So on the left elevation, I'm going to go to create again and then set up my reference plane. So I'm going to place the first one like this. And then I'm going to offset from the reference level by 55 millimeters. And then while still selected, I'm gonna copy another one and then offset it by 730 millimeters, and then another one by 450 millimeters. So this is what we have so far. And then the next thing is I'm just gonna go to the reference level again, and then I'm gonna set up those steel bases. So I'm gonna go to create and say extrusion, and then select my rectangle, randomly place it like this. So from this side, I'm gonna offset it by 40 millimeters, and then the overall is gonna be 18 millimeters, and then it's gonna be symmetrical. I'm gonna do the same from this side, so it's gonna be 40, and then the overall is gonna be 18 millimeters. And then I'm gonna say finish edit mode, go to the left elevation, and then I'm just gonna drag it down like this, and then lock it. So the overall thickness of this steel is gonna be, I'm gonna make it 20 millimeters. I'm gonna select it and say mirror pick axis, and then it's gonna be copied to the other side. And then I'm gonna select control select both of them, and then I'm gonna say mirror click axis, and then we're gonna be copied to the other side. If I open up the 3D view, this is what we have so far. Okay, now the next thing is I'm gonna go to the left elevation again. So on the left elevation, we're gonna model our steel pipes that are running across. They're going to be running across like this, and other ones are going to be running across like this. So the ones running across on this direction are going to be, there are going to be two of them, and then these in this direction there are going to be five of them. So let's go to the left elevation, create extrusion circle option, and then I'm just going to place it just to use this as my reference, my insertion point. I'm just going to place it right there. I'm going to move it, so the radius is going to be 12.5. And then the internal diameter is going to be 20 millimeters. So the radius is going to be 10. I'm going to select it and then make it like this. And then I'm going to move it downwards like this. So it's going to be placed like that. So I'm going to say finish edit mode. So the material is applied. And then I'm going to say mirror pick axis. And then it's going to be copied to the other side. So actually, let me just remove this. I'm gonna go to the bulk elevation, open up this extrusion again, and then I'm gonna copy it, but it's still editing because I want them to move at the same time. So I'm gonna go to reference point and say finish. Then I'm gonna move it towards this outer reference plane and then lock it, and then move it towards this outer reference plane and then lock it. So this is how it works. So I'm gonna go to the left elevation again. And on the left elevation, I'm gonna select my extrusion again, and then I'm gonna say copy. So I'm gonna copy this, and then take it upwards like this, and then I'm gonna place it right there. And then I want only my steel pipe to be based on the right hand side for this level. So I'm going to select my extrusion edit, and then I'm going to remove this one, and then I'm going to be left with only one. I'm going to select this one again, and then I'm going to copy it further to this reference point, and then it's going to be based like this. Let's go to the 3D view. So this is how it looks. Now the next thing is I'm going to place my steel pipes that are running across like this. So I'm going to go to the reference plane, and so I'm actually going to go to the front elevation because I'm gonna go to the front elevation. So on the front elevation, I'm gonna go. Uh, I'm gonna go to create and say extrusion, and then select my circle again, and then it's gonna be 12.5 millimeters in radius, and then the internal diameter is gonna be 20 millimeters, and then I'm gonna move it like this. Then I'm gonna move it towards the top of my these pipes that are running across like this. So I'm gonna say finish edit mode, and then I'm gonna press the array tool, or you can press AR on your keyboard. Make sure your constraints are set to last, and then the number is gonna be 5. And then I'm gonna select this side, and then I'm gonna drag it towards the side until I meet this three pipes. So there are 5 of them. I'm gonna say finish and say go to the 3D view. So this is how it looks. Actually, I want them to run across at the same time. So I'm going to select my extrusion, edit extrusion, go back to the front elevation, and then I'm going to select my extrusion. So I cannot array this. So the first thing is I'm just going to say finish edit mode, and then I'm going to drag this a steel pipe towards this reference point, lock it, and then drag it towards this side, and then lock it. And then what is the I'm gonna go to the front elevation again, and then I'm gonna array it this time. So I'm gonna set the number to 5, and then I'm gonna drag this towards the end, and it's gonna be placed like this. Open up the 3D view, and this is how it looks. Now it's time to incorporate our timber board where the workers are gonna be working on top of. So I'm gonna go to the reference level and then create. So I'm just gonna set this to hidden line and then say extrusion, and then I'm gonna pick my rectangle, and then I'm just gonna place it right there, and then I'm gonna drag it this side and then place it right there. And then I'm gonna apply the material to this. So I'm gonna type in timber on my materials, and then I'm gonna load in timber C24 and then load it in, apply, and then OK, and say finish edit move. And then when I go to the left elevation, as you can see, the explosion it's big. So I'm just gonna somehow my extrusion cannot detect these steel pipes, so I'm just gonna go to create and say reference plane, and then place my reference plane on top like this, so that this extrusion can detect the reference plane. So it's gonna be set on top like this. Okay. And then I'm gonna hover over the top of my uh, timber board, and then I'm gonna reduce the thickness. So I'm gonna make it 25 millimeters. Perfect. Go to the 3D view, and this is how it looks. So basically, think uh, I think when I go to the left elevation, okay, I think I might have removed the steel pipe this side, so I'm going to select this one, not have a access, and I'm just going to put it to the other side. So this is how it works. Basically, we are done with our single bay scaffold, and now it's time to make it intelligent so that it can multiply or array when we load it into our project. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna go to File, Families, New, and then I'm gonna open up the metric line-based family. So it's gonna be metric generic model line-based. So I'm gonna say open. So this is how it looks. So I'm just gonna increase the length. I'm gonna say equals to, and then remember the length of our scaffold is 2226. So I want to place 3 of them. So I'm gonna say equals to 2226, and then multiply by 3 and say enter. So the overall is gonna be 6678. Just gonna drag that upwards, and then we have this reference line that comes with a 10. So now what we're gonna do is I'm gonna go back to my family. The first family we did. So I'm gonna say load into project. So it's gonna be loaded into this family. So I'm just gonna place it like this, select it, and then I'm just gonna adjust it towards this reference point as well. Now, while it's still selected, I'm gonna open up the 3D view. So on the 3D view, okay, so from the 3D view, it's gonna be tricky when we apply the lift parameters because we have these bases, and I don't want these bases to be placed on top like this. So I'm gonna open up my family again on the side, and then I'm just gonna remove these steel bases. And then I'm gonna load it into our project, override existing views. Now we don't have that, we don't have the bases now. I'm gonna model the bases, these steel bases on the line-based family. That makes sense. Go to the reference plane, go to create extrusion, and then rectangle, and then I'm gonna place my bases. So from the middle, I'm gonna offset it by 40, and then overall it's gonna be 80. And then I'm gonna do the same thing this side, so it's gonna be 40, and then the overall is gonna be 80 millimeters per. And then let me just go to edit again. So I'm gonna select it, mirror pick axis, select the both of them, And then I'm gonna mirror it this side and say finish. Open up the left elevation, and then I'm gonna drag it downwards like this, and then lock it. And then the thickness is gonna be 20 millimeters. Perfect. Now, if I open up the 3D view, these bases are their own extrusion. They don't go along with this family that we just wrote it in. I will, I will show you guys why I had to do it like that. So the first parameter we're gonna apply is the lift. So we're gonna start with a single bay of our scaffold. So I'm gonna go to the left elevation. So on our left elevation, I'm gonna say create and then place a reference plane on top like this. And then I'm gonna press AL for alignment on my keyboard, and then I'm gonna align the top of my scaffold to this reference plane like this. So yeah, now I'm gonna select my scaffold without the bases. And then I'm gonna go to array, or you can type in AR on your keyboard. And then from this insertion point, I'm gonna take it upwards. Make sure your number is set to 2. And then I'm gonna take it upwards like this, and then I'm gonna place it on top like this. And then as you can see, we have this dimension of our array. You're gonna select it. And then when you scroll to the top left, you're gonna have this option of append to end. You're gonna check it, and then under label you're gonna drop down and say add parameter. And then the type of parameter you're gonna add is an integer, and then you're gonna make it a type, and then you're gonna name it lift. Number of lifts, and then you're gonna say okay. Perfect. Now let me just show you what I just did. Go to the 3D view, and then open up your properties panel, and then just reduce this. So for the number of lifts, when you increase it to 3 and say apply, this is what it does. When go back to your properties, when you increase it to 4, apply, this is what it does. So perfect. I'm just gonna say undo. Now this is what we have. So the next thing is I'm gonna select like everything. I'm gonna select everything. And then deselect this reference plane. So let me just check my filters. So we have our groups and then our generic models. So our groups are these base. Our generic models are those individual steel bases that we just generated on our land-based family. Go to the floor plan, and now we're gonna create another parameter, which is number of base, which is it's gonna allow us that when we extend our scaffold, the number of base are gonna multiply as we go along. So from this moment, I'm gonna while everything is selected, I'm gonna select array or AR on your keyboard, and then from this insertion point, you're gonna take it to the right. Make sure your number is set to 3, your constraints are set to last, and then you're gonna place it uh, where this reference plane ends. So this is what it looks like. Now, while you can see the dimension line for your array, you're gonna select it, append to end, drop down the label, add parameter, it's gonna be an integer, and then you're gonna say number of base, and then you're gonna say okay. But you're not gonna stop there. You're gonna press AL on your keyboard for align, and then you're gonna align the two families against each other because they have to take effect on each other when you multiply your elements, the number of base. So if I go to the 3D view, this is what it looks like. Now let's test our parameter. So I'm gonna go to family types, and then if I increase the number of base to 4 and say apply, this is what it does. So it just applied. Go to properties, I'm gonna increase it to 6 number of base, and then the number of lifts I'm gonna increase it to 6 also and say apply. Let's see what it does. So this is what it does. So it's very much an intelligent family. So I'm just gonna I'm gonna open up my new project, the construction template. So And then I'm gonna go to architecture wall. So I'm just gonna place a wall like this. And what should I make it? So yeah, I'm gonna make it 8,000 millimeters. And then go back to my family. So I'm gonna load my family into this project. So I'm not gonna save this. I already did. And then we have two options of placement. So we're gonna work with place on work plane. So I'm just gonna place it like this and drag it like this. So I'm gonna place it like this. So it's gonna be placed like that. I'm just gonna increase my wall. And then when I open up the 3D view, this is how the scaffold looks next to your wall. I'm going to just change this to realistic. So this is how it looks next to your wall. Let me just increase this wall. So if I select my scaffold and then go to edit type, and then under my parameter, under my properties and parameters, I'm going to increase the number of lifts to 10 and say apply. So this is what it does. It's going to increase the number of lifts. And then I'm going to increase the number of bays to 10 and say apply. And then okay, so everything is multiplied. So this is very much an intelligent uh, family. I think BIM for temporary works, when you generate families like this for your company, it can be very much valuable. And also when you're doing like 4D construction planning, I think it's a good thing to have this in your arsenal, or maybe when you want to do site logistics model and also construction planning. I think this is very much valuable. So that is the end of the tutorial. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I very much enjoyed it myself, and I'll see you on the next tutorial. And please subscribe, like. When you like, it helps with the algorithm, so it gets recommended to other uh, BIM software users who might uh, be in need of these tutorials. So thank you guys for watching. Thank you for subscribing, and I'll see you next time. Peace.